She's going to speak on livelihood benefits and ecosystem benefits in Sri Lanka as well. And I'm going to pull it up a little bit higher for you. And there's a slideshow. Oh, you already did this. Okay.
Yeah, it's loaded here.
Okay. Good enough. Lakmini, please.
Thank you, Andy. Good morning, everyone. Happy Women's Day to all the women actually. So Sahan was talking about the cascading system, irrigation system in Sri Lanka. I'm going to talk about the rainforests in Sri Lanka. So this is our project is based in reforestation, which aimed for biodiversity conservation. At the same time, we are trying to mitigate climate change and adaptation through carbon offsets. So this is the Sri Lankan map. I can't see this thing.
Sorry.
It doesn't change. Okay. So as you this is the Sri Lankan map. Actually, Sahan was talking about the projects in here, and this is the rainforest patch in Sri Lanka, which is in the lowland dry zone. And as you all know, rainforests provide lots of benefits, such as biodiversity conservation, all these. Sorry about that.
Not your fault. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So as we all going to explain all the services provided by the forest ecosystems, and not to mention all the watershed protection, biodiversity protection, soil protection, and Sri Lanka is recognized as one of the high biodiversity hotspots in the world, along with the Western Ghats, and 60% of the endemic tree species are there, and 30% of endemic mammals and all the other reptiles found in the rainforest. So our project is in this wet zone area with the rainforest. As you can see, the largest forest patch is the Singharaja forest patch. Most of you may have heard of it, and the Kangali is the second largest one. And all the others are like fragmented to various small forest patches in this area, as you can see. And the current status of these areas are like smallholder farmers are living in between those fragmented forest patches. They mainly cultivate tea, rubber, oil palm, and or other small spices. And ongoing degradation and encroachment is continuously happening in this area. So the objective of our project is to link these fragmented forest patches and create a biodiversity corridor, at the same time enhancing the biodiversity. And we are trying to help to mitigate climate change at the same time, and enhancing the livelihood of the surrounding community. And this is the long-term objective of the project, to link these forest patches. The current project is in somewhere here. You will see in the map clearly. These are the project sites of our project, Singharaja and Kandani. In between that, we are trying to connect small forest patches. And we've identified the smallholder forest lands in between these forest patches, and we try to provide them trees, wild varieties. So the selection of trees, we try to match the forest, existing forest species, the combination. And we selected deforested areas, forest patches along with the farmer lands and barren lands. And as you, for your understanding, this is one of our farmers' land. this is the tea cultivation of that farmer, and this is the rainforest. Literally, there are no boundaries, so he's kind of like extending his cultivation into the forest land. So there are no proper monitoring system take place in this area. So we've in the pilot phase, we've given 12,000 seedlings, belongs to 90 odd species, and the project was in about 18.88 hectares. And these are some of the pictures of the plant distribution, and we've given them, we tag all the plants to which helps to continuous monitoring, and we have a large database in Sri Lanka on these wild varieties, and we've guided the farmers how to plant, where to plant, and how to monitor them properly. And this is the first phase of the farmers, first set of the farmers, which is a small forest patch and the Canadian second largest forest patch, and the second is we expanded it in the second phase, and the third phase we expanded it to another area. And the technical calculations were conducted, baseline estimations we did in order to quantify the carbon sequestration, and additional future carbon estimations for the additional plants and the soil carbon absorption. And based on the calculations, we've come up with these results. The total, the baseline carbon stock was 299.47 tons per hectare. If you are anyone interested in the calculations methods, I have the slides, but I'm not going to go through all the equations and all. And the future carbon estimations we conducted based on the growth model developments for these 90 odd different species. So based on that, it was the carbon offsets, we call it, is 552.14 CO2 tons per hectare. And this is the project summary. We've managed to register this project for carbon offset, carbon credits. We've registered in the register called Market Registry. I'm pretty sure it's one of the best registries, recognized registries in the world. And we used a standard code Plan Vivo, which is mainly focused on the community-based livelihood enhancement, at the same time generation carbon offsets. So this was the Plan Vivo site, our project is there, and the market site. So it's now available for the anyone who was interested to buy carbon credits. You can buy the credits from our project. And the main success stories, initially, the first set of carbon credits was brought by Marks and Spencer, first ever in the world history. They bought carbon credits from our project to make their one of their lingerie to make carbon neutral. So carbon neutral, world first carbon neutral bra. And this our project was appeared on one of their magazines. So it was one of our achievements, and actually after that, Marks and Spencer, the whole UK operations went carbon neutral. And the other is the world first carbon neutral tea company. It's based in Sri Lanka, again also bought carbon credits from our project. So they make that this tea brand carbon neutral to our carbon credits. And if we talk a little bit about the financial structure, it's like this. The farmer benefits the most of the carbon credit sales directly going to the farmers, around 64%, and all the others are like project administrative expenses. And again, we are continuously doing the monitorings against the criteria set by the Plan New and other applicable standards. So through the carbon credit sales, the payment, the farmer income has increased from 13 to 15%. So that's a considerable amount for them. Actually, these are smallholder farmers, so their income is very low. At the same time, it's not fixed because of the tea prices and all. So this farmer payments were one of their important income, livelihood income. And these are some of the pictures of the farmers when you are doing the monitoring. And in addition to the carbon benefits, we conducted lots of trainings on beekeeping, the maintaining plant nurseries, and other livelihood enhancement like the income generation projects through medicinal plants, fruits, and NTFPs. So from our project, actually, we are trying to develop a self-sustaining project, because if we can make this the total project self-sustaining in the future without any input from the outside, that would be a long-term sustainable project. So we are trying to develop that self-sustaining project concept here. And additionally, we've tried to match the UNDP's SD goals. What are the other core benefits coming from the projects, like biodiversity enhancement and restoration will help you in rule number 15, life on earth, and the water and clean water and sanitation throughout the soil conservation, the reforestation practices, so the watershed protection practices, and all the livelihood enhancement will cover goal 1, 2, 3, 4, and many other goals actually, which I haven't mentioned here. And then again, the climate change mitigation aspect, rule number 13. And some of the challenges we face is like high transaction costs, because it's a very small scale project. Sri Lanka is very small. Like the other countries, reforestation is very challenging. So the certification cost mainly is quite challenging, and the lack of government support I have mentioned here, because there are some protected small forest reserves which can be taken to this kind of a project. So at the same time, RED Plus, there is a potential for RED Plus, applying RED Plus methodology for this kind of projects. And of course I mentioned the scale. And another challenge was to get the buying from the farmers, because most of tea prices are fluctuating in Sri Lanka, so they are now trying to switch to oil palm, because it gives high price in shorter term. So the buying from the farmers also was like is challenging, and the initial capital cost, finding the capital cost also we find it difficult sometimes, and of course selling credits. Because reforestation projects credits prices are compared to other projects in high range, so finding big buyers also challenging. And we managed to set up a community-based organization to make most of the activities done by themselves without interfering their activities, like outside parties interfering their activities. So we created a community-based organization. Through that, they are doing the farmer payments and other required trainings, and we are trying to link these community-based organizations with other food chains, that they can collect all the medicinal NTFPs and fruits and all, and we can sell this at a value-added price. And again, we've tapped other financing schemes such as philanthropic and donor funding. We managed to partner with Patagonia and other Sri Lankan companies through CSR activities to find that initial capital cost for this kind of the planting in this project. So this is it. So I feel that this kind of small scale projects can be expanded in other countries as well. So what we are trying to do is like develop self-sustained projects, self-sustained financing mechanisms in order to enhance the livelihood of the community surrounding, and at the same time conserving the biodiversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Lakmini. Fascinating work. I'm sure when you woke up this morning, you did not think you were going to come